And welcome back to another episode of All of Fabric. So today, what we're going to be doing is starting to work towards the quantum circuit. Now I've just started having a little bit of a peek at all the different bits and pieces that make up this. I think the first thing that could be a problem is plutonium. Now we are actually making plutonium from a reactor, but I was in the process of creating HE-MOX dust, and that's using some of that plutonium. So this is based on what we get from these depleted uranium fuel rods. This is actually kind of extracting a little bit slow. We might change up how this is working, because it hasn't overclocked yet. It's definitely processed a couple. I think it's just because these get too full, so it can't process. So if we like auto extract, that might sort that. But I set this up in between episodes, so we're now of course making the uranium quad fuel rods. We are using them in both the reactors at the moment. Decided to stick with this design instead of the one with water completely surrounding it. I don't know if that's better or not, but the fuel efficiency was definitely higher. Which, I don't know, it seems like a good thing. And then over here, this thing's running the exact same setup, but we're going to be swapping this over for this HE-MOX once we get it made. Or at least that was the plan, or perhaps we just have these two reactors running. They're both the exact same setup at the moment. Carbon large plates, water. Yeah, because we're still waiting on the heavy water to backfill, and I suspect if we started using it, it would all just disappear rather quickly, so in the process of crafting up a whole bunch of nuclear alloy casings. We're going to make the next size up of reactor. Still pretty expensive to go for these ones at the moment, but we'll go for this next one up. And potentially we can even tear these down and maybe just make one big one. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's definitely not going to fit here though, unless we start going up, so maybe we expand our nuclear stuff out this side. Could be kind of cool. But yeah, we're going to need a bunch of plutonium for making these batteries. They're getting used for making like these quantum machine hulls, which take these circuits. We're definitely going to want them. They're also used for making quantum circuit boards, which are used for making the quantum circuit. Superconductor storage units. This would be pretty cool to get. So I'm going to carry on, set up the machines and bits and pieces. We'll sort of follow the quest line. We're not going to go across to the nukes just yet, although that needs more plutonium as well. So I think the big reactor is going to be quite good. We have tritium. I think we got a decent amount. We have 5 buckets, okay. I mean, it only takes 50 millibuckets, so we've got a decent amount of tritium. We just need some deuterium, which is we'll start building that back up once the heavy water's full. And then we can start making some nukes. Alright, so progress is being made. The most obvious new addition being this fella. So we've got a decent size reactor. Well, it's kind of just the next size up. Just running on uranium fuel rods, or the uranium quad fuel rods, rather. And he's sitting at around about 2,000 degrees. Yeah, it's pretty warm. Pretty warm, so we should be getting a decent amount of steam out of here. Yeah, I'm still wondering if, because it seems to be that most of the temperature goes, directly across. So if you had one of these here, these would be quite good steam sections, and then you could do the same over here. I don't know what you do in the middle. Maybe you have another one in the middle. So maybe 5 would be a decent-ish setup for making steam. We might change it so that he's producing more. We'll kind of see how our uranium keeps going. Although it looks like it's actually still going up, although we've obviously only just fired this thing up. Something I did kind of just accidentally discover is I've quite often had trouble with these storage buses not getting picked up, but actually changing the priority to be lower, because extraction has a lower priority first. So a lower priority is actually a higher extraction priority. And I'm only ever using these storage buses as extract, so doing that seemed to get the items picked up, whereas sometimes they don't. Like we come here, like the circuit isn't there, but it should be. But then if we change the priority to -1, now it picks it up. So I think I should probably run around and do that everywhere. It's certainly something I haven't done. I sort of only just read the thing properly. But that should help with some of the weirdness that's been happening with our storage buses. But anyway, it's not what we're working on right now. What I've just finished setting up over here is HE-MOX fuel rods. So I kind of need plutonium. We need more of it. The centrifuge is working away. He's getting pretty overclocked, but you can see very, very slow still. But most of the plutonium that's getting created here is actually getting used to make the HE-MOX. So maybe HE-MOX wasn't the best thing to use this for, but you do get from this HE-MOX. Does it show you what it depletes into? It turns into depleted HE-MOX fuel rods, which gives you a decent amount of plutonium. Yeah, I guess we'll use that. I don't know what we're going to use this uranium for. We could start making LE uranium with it because we're not using the 235 dust we're getting at the moment. We could do HE uranium. And maybe that would be better because we're going to have quite a bit of this. Although, unless HE uranium becomes this fuel rod and it gets depleted, we get a decent amount of 235 if we did that. And some plutonium. Yeah, I don't know. We'll carry on. I don't think we've got an excessive amount. Yeah, we've got 55. So it's not heaps. Not heaps. And we've only got 5 of these depleted uranium fuel rods. So this thing is slowly catching up on the back stuff. We could overclock it further. Maybe we will. I still suspect it's going to be processing these faster than we're creating them. Although I did just set up this guy, so this thing might change things. It hasn't actually been running for that long. But yeah. And for some reason, we are not getting uranium fuel rods. Because he's not picking up these. Probably because I need to set that priority lower. There we go. Right, I definitely need to go around and set all of the priorities to be lower. Because we want these things available. So yeah, we've also got this now. Just do that to get the quest. I guess that's just going to go sit in the system. So we now have our mixed iridium ingots. We got some saucy chips. Cool. We're going to get a bowl back though, unfortunately, when we eat that. So the next thing here is obviously this quantum circuit we're kind of working towards. But we're still kind of short on that plutonium. I don't think helium-3 is going to be too major. Well, we won't keep too much of it in stock. But I think we've got a decent amount of helium sitting in the system, and we're getting that from processing our oil over here. But let's try chucking in this HE-MOX ingots, so we can get rid of all these bits and pieces for now. Just kind of trying to figure out what was wrong with the system. So we're still waiting on plutonium. If we start running HE-MOX, I don't know what's going to happen. If we were to say you insert HE-MOX fuel rod, you would have to also extract an HE-MOX fuel rod. And don't... It looks like the temperature's slowly coming up. Maybe we want to make these into quad ones as well. It's just that same process. We might do that. I'm just not sure what the temperature is going to be like. Actually, he's going up pretty quick now. Now, we should still be making... Oh, he's going up really fast. I think he's going to melt these. I think we could potentially be in trouble. So temperature's sitting about 1500. Oh, we're okay. But that's about the temperature that one of those quad ingots gets to, right? He gets a little bit higher. 1700. But this is just a single one. Cool. Efficiency-wise, yeah, I think I figured out why the efficiency is a little bit weird sometimes. I think it actually takes into account the steam that you're extracting. So because these are kind of full on steam, and they're very full at the moment because we've hooked in this as well, most of the steam that's getting created isn't actually getting used. It's just getting voided, which I think is what drops down the efficiency. So if we just put this into like a trash can, we'd get a better number. And we can test that. We can get one of these. If we do this, let's give this a slightly lower priority so that we don't turn all the steam, or just trash all the steam. And there we go, we can see the efficiencies going up. So that's actually a better representation of how efficient something is. So this one's like 22. It's going up though. Interesting. 23. And if we have a look at our HE mocks, sitting at the same temperature, yeah, a little bit less. And then if we come over here, have a look at this one. He's pretty efficient, actually. Interesting. All right, so I think we should be at the point where we're just about to get these quantum circuit boards. So yeah, there's a couple of extra machines here. We're now making HE mocks. No, I think we're already making that. But probably a new addition here is we've just got this chest with the HE mocks ingots kept in it in stock like this. This just seems like a good way to keep, only keeping 128 in stock, which is handy because otherwise we just end up turning all of our plutonium into that. And I think we've got quite a bit of, we got 367 HE mocks dust sitting around and we're not burning through this super quick. So yeah, that seems like a good solution for that. Potentially, I could have just put an export bus. I'll just extract it out of here. I guess we didn't necessarily need to do it like this. Yeah, okay. I might get rid of that. But over here, we have our mixed iridium ingots that were going before. We almost have our plutonium batteries being crafted. So we've got the superconductor cables, the curved plates, and all we should have to do is insert the plutonium dust. Now, it's currently getting put into the system over here. So we are checking it in the system if there's a overflow. And since there was nowhere else for it to go, we've ended up with it in the system. But this will eventually end up going into this. So if we add this into there, next time we have excess plutonium, which is going to be semi soon, and this centrifuge is running as well, so we had some depleted mocks. Yeah, there's almost 2 stacks of tiny plutonium dust, so we had a little bit, not heaps. But yeah, so this should go in here now. We'll just biff in a stack for now. It's going to start crafting these plutonium batteries, and we got a maximum of 16 sitting in here. I might bump that up. Might bump that up to 64. Oh, I guess the conductor cables are. We're probably going to want these for other stuff. Yeah. Let's have a stack sitting in there. So there will be, of course, crafting happening of, yep, more superconductor cables. That's just going to be a craft that hopefully isn't too bad to keep running. We're producing some helium-3 over here in a centrifuge. Now I've overclocked and made him have a turbo machine hull, so he takes HV, because I think this is going to draw a bit of power. Although we can't really see how much. Oh, we are there. It's going to draw 160, which isn't too bad, but on LV cables, it's not great. And that's all getting inserted into here. So we have iridium plates. We need to insert. Let's get rid of these things. We're missing the plutonium batteries and the iridium plates. So now, and what did we have quests for? Just for the actual end circuit. Okay. Oh, so you're already taking that. I must not be extracting it. But we also want to insert plutonium batteries, which we are not extracting yet. We can see that input-output. Plutonium batteries going into this. And then we just need the iridium plates. And that, once we have the helium, which is going to be the problem, once we have the helium, actually let's drop this down. That 16 is probably an okay amount. We've still got a limit of 16 here anyway. Yeah, okay, we're waiting on the helium, but this is pretty slow. Now there's not a different, no, this is the only way to get helium-3. Okay. It takes 100 seconds. Yeah. Again, playing on a server, so this is just going to be running all the time. We will eventually get the helium-3, and we'll end up with these quantum circuit boards. And then I think we've still got the qubits to make. That bit of tritium and some cryofluid. We've made all of this stuff, so we could kind of craft these. Setting up the production line for them might be a little bit trickier. Maybe. Might not be too bad. And then that'll be quantum circuits. Which of course means once we get singularities and quantum machine hulls, which, it's just those circuits. A bunch of iridium, so not cheap by any stretch. But we can get quantum tanks, which could be cool in a couple of places. That actually could be quite a handy thing for, yeah, if we need to store a whole bunch of fluid like oil and stuff. We could pretty much get rid of, instead of mucking around having these tanks which hold, what, 21,000 buckets? A quantum tank. Oh no, sorry, the qubit. No, what was it? The quantum circuit? There we go. Would hold 2.147 gigabuckets. I'm sure that's a lot. So we're getting pretty close to that. And of course the quantum barrel. But yeah, these quantum upgrades, they're going to be the next thing. So we'll look at that next time. And we actually should be kind of close to getting nukes. Nah, we need to sort the tritium. So probably another reactor. And I might start trying to use some of this uranium-238 dust we're getting now. Although, yeah, we are producing more uranium than we're using, so we still need to use this for something at some point. But hey, we're getting close to the final upgrades, and that should be pretty cool. But anyway, it's been ClassicDuff. Thanks for watching. We'll come back next time for some more All the Fabric 5. See ya.